How are you doing, Miss Hardwick?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Jackson.
You know we're in a series of difference making, and I'm glad you're here so that you can tell us about how you've been able to make a difference or what it means to you. So I want you to quickly tell us about what a difference maker is to Paris.
I believe a difference maker is somebody who does just that. They make a difference in the lives of others. They deposit something into somebody's life or makes an impact, a positive impact on their life. And they could do that by giving monetarily or an act of kindness or even just an encouraging word. I also believe a difference maker is someone who has values and morals, things they don't live like the world lives. Someone can look at them and say, what is it that he or she has that I don't have? What is it that they have? I want to know what they have. How can I live like that? What makes her want to live the way she lives or he lives, or say the things that he or she says? And just the way they live, that difference is what I believe a difference maker is.
And what do you have that other people want?
I believe I have just my relationship with God, the changes that I've made over these past few years, the things I believe I have my testimony, the things that I used to do and the things that I used to be involved in that I can say no to. That doesn't even affect me on this day, and that I believe that my experience in that is what's going to be able to help me make a difference in the lives of others. Someone who may be going through the exact same thing that I went through 3 or 4 years ago, that I can tell them, hey, look, when I was in that place, this is what happened to me. Or now, I have a relationship with God and he was able to change this, or he was able to remove this person from my life, or change my way of thinking to help me get out of certain situations and live a better, different life.
That's good. Like, that is really good stuff right there. Now I'm going to take you to a story in the Bible. I'm sure you've heard it, about Jesus and the fig tree and how he cursed the fig tree, paraphrasing the story, because it wasn't in purpose. It wasn't producing fruit. What does that mean to you?
Well, recently Pastor said something that stuck with me, and he said, if you lose your ability to make a difference, you are useless. So I went home and I had quiet time, and I immediately started thinking about the story of the fig tree. And pretty much Jesus walked up on the fig tree, he inspected it, he looked at it and saw that it was producing leaves. It wasn't created to produce leaves, it was created to produce figs. So he cursed it because it wasn't doing what it was created to do. I think something that's interesting about that is it didn't say that the fig tree was dead. It was functioning because it was creating leaves, and depending on the size, it could have been providing shade and providing oxygen and even being a food source for certain animals and insects. So it was still functioning, it just wasn't functioning in its purpose. And I think a lot of times that reflects our lives. God created us for a big purpose, and we know it's not all about just saying yes to Jesus and going to heaven, because as we've heard pastors say, if it was all about that, as soon as we would have accepted Jesus into our lives, it would have been just that, we would have went to heaven. But since we're still here, we got to be here for something bigger and better, something for a purpose outside of ourselves. And I believe that purpose is to make a difference in the lives of others. But sometimes we get caught up in the other functions of life, and we start focusing on that. We get distracted from our purposes and start focusing on that. So I believe what happens in our lives is that those areas that we're focusing so hard on, Jesus has allowed those areas to become withered. So it's like, why are my finances messing up? Or why are all my relationships falling apart? Why am I having such a hard time in work or at school? And it's because you're not walking in purpose, and God has allowed that to happen. But I believe God is just and forgiving and gracious enough that, if we turn our focus back to our purpose, that he'll revive and, he'll resurrect those areas, just like he did with the man with the withered hand in Matthew 12:9-14.
Okay.
So he came across a man with a withered hand, and he was able to restore his hand. And, God, he's no respecter of man. So I feel like if he could do it for that man, then he can do it for all those other withered areas that could be in my life or your life or somebody's life that we know.
That is good. you taught all of that, and I'm excited that you were able to pull other areas of the Bible to proof text, what you were talking about earlier. Now I want to move on to you. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because you talked about your definition of being a difference maker and what the fig tree example meant to you. Now I want to see where you're applying that to your life because you're going into pharmacy school next year, and I want to know how that has played into your purpose in your life and how you're going to be a difference maker.
Yeah, so just my journey, my experience, the amount of faith I've had to have in that alone, my journey to getting to the Medical College of Wisconsin to start the pharmacy program is a testimony in itself. And I feel that when I get there and I get surrounded by a different group of people, and just the way I carry out my lifestyle or the way, the fruit that I produce, they can see what fruit that I'm producing. And hopefully that draws them near. If they come up to me and they expect me, I want them to find leads. I want them to see, that I'm walking in purpose. I'm walking in my purpose. And because I'm walking in my purpose, I could make a difference in their lives, whether it's, me teaching them something that I learned or them just seeing how I act or my response to certain or the way I think or the way I talk, that is something different about me.
And that's good. So I encourage you to continue on and be in your purpose and different things like that. I want to ask you one more question.
Okay.
And what could you do now that could cause you to be more of a difference maker?
So I think something that I can do right now at this moment to be a difference maker is just keep feeding myself with the word, keep just, being committed to having those quiet times and also, reflecting back on, the sermons and the notes that I took in the sermons. Because once I have knowledge and the word instilled in me, once you put it into action, that's wisdom. And I can,
come on now,
pass that wisdom along to others whenever they need it. And, just taking those things that I learned in the sermons or taking those things that I'm learning on Sundays and being able to actually apply that in real life, to be able to put action on those things. That's where the real difference come in. So we know what it is that we got to do. So all we got to do is just do it. Because if, Jesus come up to me and expect me, I want him to find leaves. I want him to find me producing fruit.
Amen.
So, yeah.
That's good. So like I said earlier, I thank you for stopping by this difference maker interview, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a small clip of a longer interview, and if you want the full exclusive interview from Paris Hardwick, you can go to the link at the bottom of the screen right there, and that would be on our YouTube page. See you next week.